Hey there, welcome back to this inspired idea of mine as really just wanting to share what I notice works from this world of yoga and meditation, if we're going to give it labels, but really just about ways to feel better, ways to take care of ourselves, ways to respond in the moment, and ways to even tune into ourselves more and reconnect with the way we want to feel, reconnect spiritually, even if that's something that you're into. That's what these practices, perspectives, and even the psychology, as I like to say, of yoga and meditation are about. So I'm having fun sharing that because, there's so much yoga in the world right now, right? And we're getting into meditation more and more, even in mindfulness. And I love to see that I'm someone who's teaching about these things, speaking about these things, sharing about these things, writing about these things. But I like to do it in a way that's maybe different and bringing something fresh and that's maybe not being exposed, and even clearing up some of the myths that are already out there and the misunderstandings about what yoga is, what meditation is, much less how we can use these things for ourselves, to ourselves, as a way to do therapy, and also as a way to do energy work on ourselves, as a way to heal trauma, let stuff go, and even as like a psychological personal development path and spiritual thing, if you want, to really reconnect with who we are and get into what we're passionate about and get our creativity flowing. So much good happens through this feeling better now. So if you're into any of that, then follow along for this, which I'm going to aim to keep short, video series, which I'm going to be doing each day here to help share some of these 1-minute ideas, how to use the tools. And a lot of these come from my book that I did publish, Feel Better Now, a couple years ago, which I'm offering. If you want a copy, I'll send you a PDF version. So let me know if I can get that to you or someone you love, because that's just what I want to do. I just want to get it to you. Right? So you can use it and benefit from what I've found has worked. So this one about breath, because I feel like we all know about breath by now. We've all heard the old stop and take a deep breath thing, right? To feel better. And you even hear parents coaching their children, to breathe, much less all the other settings where now we're aware that there's some benefit to taking a deep breath to feel better, right? But I've noticed, and I've been talking about this probably for almost 20 years because it's such news to me still, that I think there's a misconception about the breath, in that it's all about the inhale, right? We all know it's about taking this deep breath in. And then, maybe we do exhale, but a lot of us, we don't focus on the exhale. We don't give ourselves a complete exhale. And thus, we're actually left feeling more anxious, more pent up, and we don't get a complete experience of the breath. So I'm pretty sure I learned this with one of my first and favorite teachers, who I'm now doing the interview series with more, John Childers. So take a look out for that. But I'm pretty sure I learned this from him almost 20 years ago. And I've been talking about it every time I teach about yoga since, because the exhale is actually the big news for a lot of us with the breath, and the thing that we want to focus on, use more, and make sure we're giving it our full attention. Because if we're going to do the take a deep breath to feel better thing, if we only take a deep breath in and then kind of, as a lot of us might do, kind of shortchange that exhale, we are actually, again, leaving ourselves more anxious, feeling the energy not getting a chance to get more centered and aligned, and really missing out on the benefits of that exhale, because it's the exhale we now know that relaxes us. It's the exhale that helps us let stuff go. This is the big thing we now realize with our practices, is that we're getting a chance to let stuff go, right? Which may mean like physical trauma, emotional trauma that we're storing in our bodies, which we now know we all are, regardless of how seemingly traumatic our lives have been. And maybe even every day going through new stuff that could become new trauma lodged in our bodies, right? And it's all energy. So our exhale is one of the ways that we get to use the energy of the breath to clear ourselves out, to clean ourselves out, to help us let stuff go, much less get a full experience of the breath physiologically for our systems, right? Because we know, the inhale brings in that oxygen, the exhale moves out that carbon dioxide, and if we're shortchanging that exhale, it's leaving us out of balance, literally. So perhaps the truth, and a new exciting truth maybe to use more, is to make it more about that exhale. Out of your mouth or nose, as far as I'm concerned, is fine, but if we want to take a deep breath in to feel better, which we could do right now, which I love to remember to breathe into that belly and the torso even more as we take a breath in. But it's that exhale and making it long and slow and more complete, and starting to tune into and feel how it's doing that energy work of helping you let stuff go, how it is relaxing you physiologically, helping your nervous system shift more towards calm. And the longer, slower exhales actually do help lower blood pressure, help slow heart rate, help do the opposites of stress, right? So for a lot of us, it's the exhale that we want to focus on, use more. And a related thing I've noticed that a lot of us do just naturally, it was like built into our nature as humans to sigh, right? To maybe when we're frustrated or stressed or worried or something, we might finally just give it a right? Which often, if anybody else is around us, they might turn and say, oh my gosh, what's wrong, right? But I've come to see that's kind of a yogi thing to do, to give it an exhale, to let stuff go, to even add a little sound, to add the power of sound, and that'll probably be something we'll talk about later in this series, is the power of sound in all of this. But when we do something like sigh, even more intentionally, maybe not even waiting till we feel terrible, but to just give it a and you'll even hear sometimes, if you go into some more advanced yoga classes, perhaps, that a lot of official yogis blend that into their mat practice. A lot of use of the breath, a lot of use of those exhales, and even being willing to which can sound kind of funky groovy if you're in the class, if you've never been around people doing that. But that's why, because it's a built-in tool to help us feel better now. So that's today's tool, to get more into the exhale, to use the exhale anytime, anywhere, and even when we're using a deep breath to feel better, to make it more about the exhale, and playing with letting that be slower, longer, more complete, and even imagining the work that breath is doing. Remember that imagination is such a power tool from yoga and meditation, and what we now know of how the brain and imagination affect us, right? So those are your tools today. The exhale, remember it, use it, play with it, let it help you let stuff go and feel better right now. And know that the more you use stuff like this, the better everyone around you is going to feel, even because your vibe is affecting it all, and is a way that you can help the world to help you feel better and even more ready to respond the way you want to respond, right? And the way you want to create and be out with others. So loving you. Thanks for listening. And yeah, post below if you'd like a comment. A copy. I was thinking comment below. And if you want a copy of the Feel Better Now book that I published a couple years ago, and is just kind of sitting there because I forgot about it. So I want to get it to you because it's got a lot of good stuff to help you bring it home. All right. Alrighty. Thanks for being here, y'all. Loving you. Namaste.